All right, how's it going, Richad Commey?
Very good, very good.
You know, you have a tremendous week coming up, and overall, you had your media workout yesterday. Has anyone from your family or outside teammates reached out to you during this week? Kind of wish you some good.
I mean, people from Ghana, from everywhere. Man, you look great. So, everyone is saying like positive stuff. So, it's all good.
Now, talking a little bit about the training regimen. Did you do anything different? Did you bring in different sparring partners to fit for the style?
I spar everyone at the gym. I spar like a good man. I spar a lot of people, man. A lot of people. Mickey B was over. I spar with him, and Julio Rodriguez. A lot of people. A lot.
Now, when it comes to this, fight, Teofimo is kind of relatively a big guy in the weight class. Did you spar anyone like a little bit bigger than you to kind of get you all ready for it?
Always spar big guys. Always sparring big guys. So I'm used to it.
And when you went into sparring sessions and you punched them as the bigger guys that were in there, they respected you?
I never win a sparring session. I just try my best and do what I do.
Richard's a big guy as well. He's going to come in just as heavy as Teofimo, so I wouldn't even consider Teofimo the bigger guy.
Would you say that they're about the same size in that aspect? So there's no one going to have a physical advantage coming into the fight. It's going to be a fair fight, and at that point, fans can have something exciting and look forward to maybe a fight of the year or maybe KO of the year with that.
I think so.
Yeah. Maybe.
Nobody hits as hard as Richard in that division, so Teofimo's the one that's got to worry about the size, I think.
Richard has been an avoided lightweight for many years, and so people are going to see for the first time on a wide audience scale really what Richard's all about come Saturday night. Look at his record, and look at the KO ratio, so that it's a real, it's not, and most of those KOs Richard has been on the B side. You understand? So, this is nothing new to Richard at all. So.
Yeah, I feel like people are overlooking Richard. You know what I mean? Boxing people aren't because we know what type of fighter Richard is, but I feel like going into this fight, it's just like people are looking at him and his opponent and not realizing he's a defending world champion.
It's the hype with ESPN and Top Rank behind Teofimo. The general public see that, so you can't blame them for that because obviously he's had a powerful team behind him, Teofimo, and Richard has come up the hard way, quietly, unassuming. He's travelled all around the world, been on the B side, so it's this is the first time that Richard has been exposed to this kind of promotion. So we can understand that the promotion, it looks like Teofimo's the A side, but certainly come Saturday night, everyone will know who the A side is.
Richard, the one question I wanted to ask you, because I heard this yesterday, is when you were talking about doing it for Africa and doing it for your country of Ghana. And are there any fighters from Ghana or Africa that you talk to or call you before your big fights?
Not really, but only from Ghana, we got Joshua Clottey, former IBF welterweight champion. Yeah, very close to him. So we always talk, chat on WhatsApp and all that. So but, Africa, man. Ghana, that's it. We all one people,
Yeah.
That's right.
I like that, man.
No.
I gotta ask you because I didn't see you yesterday. Commey's a nice guy. He's a humble guy. And, but you might be a little more vocal about his situation coming into this fight and how people are looking at him as an opponent rather than a world champion.
Oh, without a doubt. It's really not Richard's place to
how you feeling, buddy?
The voice about it.
Yeah.
He stays the course. He's a humble young man. He reads his Bible. He does all of those things right. So I have to be the bearer of the bad news to any opponents that he has, because we don't play that. I see that Teofimo is really, really a nice young man.
Yeah.
His father, somewhere along the line, we might have to really go at it.
Oh, okay.
But the bottom line is that this man knows what his job is. His job is to defend his title, to soldier on, to have many, many title defenses and successful ones at that, and just keep being the person that he is. We can't make him boisterous because we don't have to. We can't make him braggadocious because we don't have to. He's what he is, and that's what helps us to be better people. And, you know, if anything, we'll call him Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Right now, he's Dr. Jekyll. On the 14th, believe you me, he will be Mr. Hyde.
Now, I wanted to ask, because a lot of fans felt that you won a lot of the fights in your past, including the Robert Easter, things like that. Do you feel that this fight would have to go in a stoppage to get a fair decision? You feel, being the fact that you've been the B-side and experienced those things?
Whatever happens, I'm going there and do my whole. And whatever happens, God knows best. So that's it. But I'm winning.
You know what's funny? We the world champion, man. He's the world champion.
Absolutely.
So, you know what I'm saying? He's coming for our belt, right, Rich? And he ain't getting it, right?
Richard, I mean, there's been talks of you being overlooked as a champion. I think a lot of people would agree with that. That it's not the typical case to where the contender is, you know, getting as much praise, much more praise than the actual person that won the title. Do you think that this is the fight, though? Like, if you win this fight, that at this point they would have to give you your respect as a world champion?
Yeah, I think so. I think so because it's hard because I'm the champion. Everyone is like, so I think once I win this, they will know that you know, they got to give me the respect that I deserve. So,
Commey, I'm pretty sure you believe you have the power to stop him, right? If it comes to it.
Man, I train so hard, and you know, I'm not the one at the receiving hand, so I don't know.
No, one day you got to hit yourself and say, wow, I can really punch.
Dre, I'm pretty sure you agree, right?
Well, Richard is a phenom when it comes to concussive capability. He can punch with either hand, and his record is indicative of it. And when I first saw his record, I was a bit skeptical. And then when we had the chance to work with him, the skepticism went out the window. Because I'm like, this young man is really, really, I mean, honestly, next to Curtis Stevens, he's like one of the hardest punching kids we work with. And that's high praise because Lord knows. But he can get you out of there with one shot. And once he starts to tune in on you, look out. Without a doubt. And it's not just, oh, you know what, I've got that punching capability, but he has other weapons. You know, he has those monkey arms. You know, they seem to not be as long as they are until you see them actually working. And you're like in range and say, I'm out of range, and he still hits you. He has lots of weapons, and they'll all be on display on Saturday.
You seen it a lot in the Beltran fight.
Yeah.
In the Beltran fight, you seen his power. You know, so even we were like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? With his power, the way he threw them punches and landed them and put Beltran down.
Richard had a lot of his early fights in Ghana, which are not on tape. They were tough fights, you know. Back in Ghana, the kids he was fighting were tough kids. And Richard was never perceived to be a knockout artist. It's just the nature of how you fight in Ghana. It's I mean, him or me, you know. And Richard was stopping people, and it just became, you know, I mean, one of those things that it was always talked about of his power, but his skill set is fantastic, you know, and it's improved, you know, remarkably since he's come to the States and come to train with Andre. I mean, he's gone up a totally another level, you know, to, you know, I mean, one of the very best, you know.
I was going to say, you're a pretty big 135. Like, you know, any thoughts about going to 140? Or are you good at 135 for a while?
Yeah, I'm good at 135, but, you know, I'm still growing, so we'll see what happens, you know. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're pretty big 135.
Hey, listen, he grew that from Ghana. He told me that in his backyard, the lions used to chase him. So you got to be stronger. You got to grow bigger, because if you don't, the lions will get you, right? Richard outran the cheetah. Check that one out.
Do you feel this fight's going to come down to the heart, the ability to endure things? A lot of fight fans say, we know that Richard can hang in tough fights. He can bang it out. But Teo, on the other hand, he hasn't been tested. He hasn't been hit on the chin. Hasn't been dragged in those type of wars. Is that going to be kind of one of the elements of this fight, that if Teo can't survive, that it's going to be a long night for him?
Richard's tried and tested. You know, he's been in there. You just look at his resume, and just look at the last round of Robert Easter Jr. If that isn't the heart, then I don't know what is. You know, he's tried and tested. Teofimo is still a prospect. You know, he's not been tried and tested.
And the guys we work with, he's been in there with our guys with Kitra, from middleweights to little bantamweights. You know, and you know we've been working so hard sparring. If you would have seen the spars with this guy, with all our guys, and we have top guys in that gym. So, you know, I don't see nothing that's really going to affect this kid, you know.
You think after maybe a couple punches that Teo will turn this into like a boxing match opposed to a brawl in order to...
You know what? Well, I'm not looking at what Timo's going to do. I'm just looking at what we worked on and what Richard's going to do in this fight. And we're just going to bring it, and I think we'll hold our belt.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.